Welcome back, Patriots, for another episode of the Bald Brad Show. It is officially Tuesday, October 22nd. And man, time is flying. I feel like we were just doing an episode yesterday, which don't get me wrong, we were. But I feel like I never left you. I feel like we are such a camaraderie, a awesome community of patriots, conservatives, and a lot of independents, by the way, that I just feel like I never left you guys, and this is awesome. You know I have a blast hanging out with y'all early in the morning with my cup of coffee, the breaking news, and the fine patriots in the chat. Well, heck, let's jump into things because we got some election updates, you guys, and you saw the thumbnail. If you didn't, and you didn't read it, and you're just like, well, I'm clicking the listen anyways, I love that. But election delays? Huh? Like the old Tim the Toolman Taylor? We're going to find out what the hell's going on because it's not good. There is foozery going on, and I always say, we called it. I hate to say it, I do. We called it. And all the stuff is starting to coming to fruition. October surprise, maybe. And already out of the gate, Sam with the membership. Thank you so much for joining the Bald Brad Army, and the badge is out. I love it. I think he got it because I gave Danielle a shout out in the chat with the awesome membership badge, and got to get one too. I love that. Thank you so much. Keeping the lights on here for us. And everybody over at Rumble, I see you, Pat, Dizzy, Jeremy, Deplorable Me. I see Karen Cat Mom over there. Miriam, I see everybody. Krager, all righty. Well, folks, they're still losing their minds over Donald Trump working 15 minutes at McDonald's. Yeah, they're still losing their minds. I can't get enough. Donald, can you go work at Burger King? I'm the king, right? And then they're going to lose their minds. Oh my God, he wants a monarchy. Oh my God, he's going to take us back to English days. I'm the king, baby. So Barstool Sports founder Dave Portnoy and Megyn Kelly, who would have thought Megyn Kelly would come around to Donald Trump after what he did to her in 2016. And more have destroyed the left's pearl clutching over former President Donald Trump's stop at McDonald's in Pennsylvania, where he worked the drive-thru and as a fry cook for 15 minutes. I mean, now we're getting down to the fact that Donald Trump can do anything for 15 minutes or less, and now the left lose their minds. They don't know what to do. They don't know how to handle anything anymore. Media outlets like Rolling Stone Magazine, Newsweek, CNN have slammed Trump for what they've called a bizarre photo op and a staged event for his 15 minutes of work at McDonald's. Yes, I'm a Trump supporter. It was a photo op, and it was all staged, and it was awesome. I love every moment of it. I love every minute of it. It was perfect. The fact that this dude called out Kamala Harris for lying, and then the press sat there and ran with her lie, and the dude's running a drive-through, not only ripping the press, but ripping Kamala Harris while working at McDonald's. Freaking genius. Everybody was talking about it. Hashtag MAGA fries. Can I get a supersize? I'm sorry, we don't supersize no more. It's MAGA, baby. You want to MAGA that meal? Yes, Mr. President, I do. Portnoy took to social media, and sarcastically wrote on X that Woodward and Bernstein, who? Looks like Newsweek just wrapped up the Pulitzer for investigative journalism. Next up, rumor Santa may not be real. Oh, Dave, you still got it. Mr. Portnoy, you still got it. The host of the Megyn Kelly Show podcast agreed and reposted a screenshot of one person's response to the Newsweek headline, calling it perfect. The person wrote sarcastically, wait, he wasn't actually hired as a new fry guy? Huh? The host of Young Turks, Cenk Uygur, posted on social media and wrote, some in the press called Trump's McDonald's photo op bizarre. This is how you lose credibility. Even the left is starting to eat themselves. Even the left is like, hey, what are you doing? Like, we know that this is a photo op. We know he didn't really sign an I-9W4 form, right? Hey, Mr. President, do you want us to deposit this 15 minutes directly? Or do you want to check at the end of the day? They're off their rockers. They're off their rockers. And so wait till he gets elected. Remember that lady screaming to the skies back in 2016? The next president of the United States is Donald J. Trump. No! Right? Just screaming. Oh, that poor lady. Well, or man, I don't know what she identifies as. But speaking of man or lady, I don't know which one this person is either, but we got Tim Walz. Tampon Tim. So Tim Walz, Trump disrespected McDonald's employees by serving fries there. Yes. Oh boy, Timmy. Oh, Timmy. You know, Timmy, it would have been, you know what would have been funny? Donald Trump goes and works at McDonald's because his running mate wants to lie about it. For those on audio, I just pointed at Tim Walz because Tim Walz's running mate is Kamala Harris, and she lied about working at McDonald's. And she's doubling down, by the way. She was just caught yesterday again saying she worked at McDonald's. McDonald's comes out and says, no record of ever her working here. So if Tampon Tim really wanted to play into this whole thing, instead of just having Donald Trump go make fries, Tampon Tim should go make tampons. It's not a bad idea. It's not a bad idea. It's a great idea. It'd be hilarious. It'd be, right? He turns around because everyone's wondering who it is, and he just has two out of his nose. Yeah. Minnesota Governor Tim Walz claimed on Monday that Vice President Kamala Harris worked at McDonald's and that former President Donald Trump disrespected McDonald's workers. Yeah, I can't. By showing up at a restaurant over the weekend and serving customers. No. There's video of it. I know you might think that there's no way, Brad, that this guy came out and said this. No, he did. Oh God, he really did. And
I grew up middle class.
Hold on 1 second here. Can't even get my fingers to work correctly.
Vice President Harris and I grew up middle class. We understand that. She actually worked in a McDonald's. She didn't go and pander and disrespect McDonald's workers by standing there in your red tie and take a picture. His policies are the ones that undermine those very workers that were in that McDonald's, whether it's home ownership, health care, reproductive rights, or cost of products. So there's more work to be done. But just to be very clear, nothing Donald Trump is proposing does anything about the middle class.
The fact that he could just sit there and lie the entire time and that nobody interjects him and says, I'm sorry, but McDonald's actually came out and said through all their records since the history of the company, she's never worked there. Like, you notice that nobody sits, they love fact checking Trump, right? They never fact check any sort of Democrat or liberal or progressive or leftist on their show ever on The View. It's an outright lie. She never worked at McDonald's. It's been verified over and over and over again. And he stays on The View after, getting his panties in a bunch because Donald Trump worked at McDonald's and he could never make fries. Kamala could never make the crispiest of fries. So The View gave Walz a chance to bail out Kamala. Well, watch what happened here. So, as you saw, he made his remarks on ABC The View about Donald Trump working at McDonald's. He was all upset because he could never get a job at McDonald's. And governor voters are saying change is a critical issue this election, but our ABC poll shows only a third of Americans believe a Harris-Walz ticket would bring that change. Well, why would they think that? Maybe because they haven't done anything, meaning she and Biden, in almost 4 years.
Can you point to a policy decision over the last 4 years that you and the vice president would have handled differently from President Biden?
Well, I think this expansion on Medicare is something that I wished would have been proposed sooner. But look, they're tackling the issues that they needed to. They came out of a pandemic that Donald Trump had left a mess for, an economy with supply chains that were broken. But I think focusing on this care economy, the two things that the vice president proposed that I hear everywhere, especially in rural America, is this issue of affordability on child care and the ability of seniors to get health care, protecting that. So I think just in this last week, you saw a major rollout in protecting rural hospitals. This is a big issue. We have ambulance deserts in large parts of America, Minnesota included, where you can't do that. And I think she's really leaning into these issues that impact people personally, and then doubling down on whether it's housing or child tax credit. Those are pretty big differences. And I don't think that's a pejorative towards it. There were other issues that were being dealt with, and she's her own leader. She's got her own path, a new way forward. And I think she sees in Minnesota that we have similar values, whether it's providing kids with meals at school. We're putting meals in our schools and trying to get guns out of them. That seems like a good thing, and that's what she's doing.
Dude, I'm telling you, if you're a Democrat or anybody voting for Kamala Harris, is there any hope for you? Because there won't be for this country if you vote for them in office. It's bad. Yeah, you can't be having Tampon Tim running things, nor Kamala Harris, because they haven't done anything. And I know we all know this, but we're just a few, like a week, 2 weeks out from the election, right? About, what was it? There's 31 days, so about 15, 14, 2 weeks. So, it's not looking good. And again, the title, we'll get there. We got election updates for you. I'll give you a grid of what the states are looking like with early voting, a nice easy picture for the Democrats. We have nice pop-ups. We'll get them some coloring pencils too. They'll love it. They'll make a whole thing out of it. But for us, Republicans, Democrats, Independents, because we're adults in the room, we got some other stuff for you as well. We got to make sure we cater to all the children and the adults. But there's also election delays. And that's what I want to bring to you in a moment, because it's a big deal, folks. It's not a good thing. It's a big time delay. And there's some foozery going on again. Well, if that sticks at election day, New York Times poll shows Trump is polling over 20% right now with black voters. That is bonkers, you guys. That is bonkers. And I think it partly has to do, there's a lot of variables in this, but I think it partly has to do with what Barack Obama said about black men, that, it's kind of their fault and all these things. And also the fact that Kamala Harris and Joe Biden haven't done anything for the black community. So Murdoch warned on Monday that if current polls are any indication, the Democrats could be in real trouble with black voters come election day. Now, early voting says something a little bit different, and we'll get there. But for the most part, right now, he's right.
It's a big problem. I mean, black voters constitute such a big part of the Democrat base. You take that out and the whole thing sort of falls over. And this is a result of some very simple question that President Trump has asked black voters since 2016. What the hell do you have to lose? And they've responded to that question thinking, well, we keep voting Democrat and things just don't seem to get better. And so his support has gone from 8% in 2016 up to 12% of the black vote in 2020. And now, according to polls, he's somewhere at 20, maybe 23, 24% of the black vote. And if that sticks at election day, the Democrats are going to be in very big trouble. That is a very large chunk of their constituency to walk out of them. And the whole thing's going to come crashing down if those numbers hold up.
Oh, gee, what do you know? Who's in North Carolina again? Oh, it's Mr. 45, Donald J. Trump. Gee, there again, because he cares about America, unlike Joe Biden, Kamala Harris, or really just any Democrat for that matter. It's sad. It's sad what's going on here. You also have CNN saying no matter how you slice the data, Trump seems to be the strongest Republican with black voters since the 1960s. Woof. Wow.
Now, I never noticed before and make me go, whoa. This is one of them, all right? This is the Democratic margin among black men under the age of 45 in presidential elections. You go back to November of 2012, what do you see? You see Obama by 81. Clinton only won him by 63. Then we're all the way down to Biden last time around by 53. A tremendous drop already. And then you take a look at the average of the most recent polls, and Kamala Harris is up by only 41 points. That is about half the margin that Obama won them by back in November of 2012. And this, I think, is, you know, when Barack Obama goes in last week when he was in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, essentially talking to young black men, he made it seem like it was a Kamala Harris specific problem. This is part of a...
Let's be fair, though. I wish that he would have shown the Democrat candidates before Obama, because I guarantee you that was the peak of the Democrats. And most likely there was people voting for Barack Obama because he's a black man and they wanted to see a first black president ever. So the black community went out and voted for him. I'm not saying that was everybody, but it sure in hell was a lot of people. So that's why you saw it peak, and maybe the numbers took some time to come back down. And that's just what we're seeing now. So maybe I should find out some research and figure out what the numbers were prior to Obama.
A long-standing trend of young black men moving away from the Democratic Party, and Kamala Harris is just the latest to face that magnitude of younger black men going towards the Republicans.
That was most interesting here is the trend line and where some of the biggest drops happened or already happened in this case. How about black men overall?
How about black men overall? It's part of the same picture, you know. We're looking once again at younger black men. It looks like the worst Democratic performance since 1960, since JFK versus Richard Nixon. It's the same thing among black men overall. Again, part of a similar trend, but here actually the drop-off isn't as dramatic, right? Barack Obama won him by 85. Then you see 71 with Clinton, 69. Biden, basically the same thing, holding steady. But here, again, very, very weak. Only a 54-point margin. Now, again.
But she's a black woman. She told me. Yeah, weird. Huh.
Still winning them by a large margin, but considerably lower than what we're used to. Certainly considerably lower what we had during the Obama years. The bottom line is Kamala Harris with younger black men and then black men overall putting in historically weak performance for a Democratic candidate.
Is she getting any relief with black women?
All right. So, you know, we're talking about the trend line, right? And black women, look, she's doing better with black women than she is doing among black men. But here, there isn't a trend line almost until we get to Kamala Harris. So again, this is a black margin among black women.
Woof, Kamala's having a rough time with her own community. And it's just not looking good, you guys. Just across the board, it's not looking good. And I want to show you what the board looks like right now with early voting. So early voting started September 6th in some areas. And then CBS News vice president debate happened October 1st and election day is November 5th. So this is what we got right here from Fox News. This is what it's looking like currently. Now, no surprises other than maybe Georgia. Nevada, I heard, could go red. That right now it's starting to lean a little bit more red, which is good for us. We need that. We need Nevada. Arizona says toss up, maybe. We're not going to get Colorado, New Mexico. The fact that even Texas says likely are is a joke. Texas, can you get your ish together, please? I don't know. These are all toss-ups. So swing states are always toss-ups, right? That's why they're there. Georgia, though, I was expecting likely are. That one is throwing me for a little bit of a loop. So out of all the states that are in yellow, Georgia was the one I was expecting to be kind of bright red. Not dark red, but bright red. Same thing with a little bit with North Carolina, with what has gone with the hurricane, what has gone on with them not getting any support from like FEMA, even though FEMA I know is there, but you understand in terms of totality, they're not getting the support. Guys, North Carolina, you just got effed over. And if you go and vote for Kamala after the lack of support she's giving you, and you think that all of a sudden in 4 years or after the election that she's going to start giving you support again, you got another thing coming to you. And there's something else wrong. The fact that you could feel and see that type of devastation, and that with your own 2 feet, you're going to walk away from your house that was blown away and go to the polls and vote for Kamala is truly a wild, wild thing that I don't know if I'll ever see in my lifetime again, and I hope not, because that's insane. That's insane. Like, no support, you're sleeping in a tent. But this is what we got going on right now. So we need Wisconsin, Michigan, Pennsylvania, hopefully, and we got some update news on Pennsylvania. Remember, Pennsylvania, we won't know the true results 3 to 4 days after the election. So around November 9th and 10th, we will get those results. Well, why, Brad? Well, I'll give you the reason why. We'll know 75% of the results election night. The other 25%, they're telling us that these are votes from overseas. Yeah, no. Yeah, you're talking millions of people. 75 here, 25% allegedly of Pennsylvania lives overseas. I did not know that. That is news to me. Millions of people all of a sudden. So we're going to find out the foozeries begin. Remember, Michigan's not cleaning up their voter registration rolls. So not only they're having illegal immigrants vote, but they're having people vote from different states, and they're getting multiple ballots. So it's all happening in Michigan, and dead people are voting. This is not like satire. This is not a joke. This is all fact. This is all legitimate. Nevada as well is not cleaning up their voter registration rolls. So Nevada was known in the 2020 election for people from voting for properties that physically did not exist. There was no home there. There was no property. It was a freaking desert, literally just a desert. There was also a freeway on multiple house properties that somehow people voted from. People were voting from properties that they no longer resided at. You can also go there and knock on the door and just ask the people, hey, did you vote for Joe? And they'll say, no, I voted for Trump. And their ballots were switched. So all this you could do yourself. You could pull up the voter registration rolls and actually go and visit these properties yourselves. Illegal immigrants are voting. You're going to see illegals voting in Arizona, New Mexico, Texas, California. Doesn't really matter. It's a solid D state. It's my home state. It's crap. And then Georgia, I haven't heard much from Georgia other than the fact of, hey, we should have the black vote. There's a lot of black people that live in Georgia. Hopefully that swings red if they have any sort of inkling of what's been going on for the last 3.5 years. And I expect North Carolina, hopefully. Pennsylvania, that state, man. There's some foozery going on in that state. Here's some other polls for you. I want to see if I can zoom in on this for y'all because it's kind of small, kind of like Timmy. Harris supporters are more likely to think 2024 votes will be counted accurately. Yo, what planet do you live on? Harris supporters are more likely to think that 2024 votes will be counted accurately. Jesus, bro. Why? Even if Trump wins, I'm still going to have my antennas going, okay, who are all the people that voted illegally, fraudulently, even for Trump or for Harris? It doesn't matter. They never wanted to look under the hood. I guarantee you, if Trump wins, I guarantee you the left will be like, election's rigged. Oh, count the votes. We need recounts. The lawsuits will start, right? And just after they get done for 4 years, oh, well, Trump won't certify elections. Oh, they'll be quick, right? Because then they'll gaslight you. We never said that. We never said that he sat there and did all those things and he said those things. We never said that. Yeah, right. You guys do that all the time, you freaking liberals. All registered voters, 58%, think the votes will be counted accurately. I'm not part of that 58%, by the way. Harris is at 83% and the Trump supporters 35%, which I'm surprised it's even 35%. No, not confident. I'm part of that 41%, 17%, and then 65%. So I'm a Trump supporter. I'll be voting for Trump. I'm part of the 65%. I do not think that would be voted counted both ways, accurately, because these people are idiots. Do you remember that vertical spike that happened overnight that was allegedly a clerical error? Yeah, exactly. There you go. Yeah, a bunch of idiots. Yep, that's what they are. I don't think they can do anything correctly. These are the same people that said, oh, you know what? The water pipe burst, clear it out, everybody out, put up poster boards, right? Well, let's get into a little bit of good news here with a sponsor. If you have a dog, we've all been there. Our pup goes from full-blown energy to sick and miserable in an instant. And at the worst of times, by the way. Then we're calling the vets in the middle of the night, freaking out, or even on the weekends, trying to find a clinic that will just take us in. It's a terrible way to manage your dog's health, not to mention your stress levels and your monthly budget. Both are going through the roof. That's why people are getting the Pet Emergency Kit by Positive. You've heard us call this out. I'm an animal lover, folks. I grew up with animals. It contains critical medications and supplies that can not only keep you out of the veterinary office, but may save your dog's life. Their kits contain critical medications like activated charcoal, septic powder, and more. It might save your dog's life. Head over to positive, Sativ.com and use code STUDIO to get 15% off and your emergency pet kit. Make sure you get over there, folks, and grab those up. You always want it in a time of need and a time of emergency, so make sure you're prepared. We're basically doomsday preppers here, baby. Basically the doomsy dooms. Patriots, I see you all in the chat. Greatly appreciate it. Hit that like button if you can. Again, a shout out. We're talking about election. We are going to be here for election night. So if you want us to be your platform, we will be here. We will be streaming for hours. And who knows, maybe we will get the election results, because say Pennsylvania does take 4 days. Well, I guess it doesn't really matter if Trump can get all the other ones. So let's hope, let's pray, and it's going to be a big night, maybe even a stress-filled night, and maybe honestly it could be a bad night. I don't want to put that in the ether, but Kamala could win, you guys. I know that sounds crazy watching everything we've seen, but I saw all this stuff in 2020. I saw the parades, I saw the rallies, I saw the boat parades, I saw the endless miles of people parading for Trump. I saw all of that as well. That's why 2020 is so hard for me to believe that Joe Biden was the most popular president in American history when nobody would show up for him. So we'll see if the foozery begins, but there's still foozery taking place. So Michigan, SOS estimates state won't know election results until the end of Wednesday. Oh, here we go again. So Michigan. So we just got done talking about Pennsylvania taking 4 days plus to get the election results. Now Michigan's coming out. Gee, those might just be both swing states. Oh, no, they are. Yep, they are. God. Hey, let's kind of wait 48 hours to see what's going on so we know how many votes we need to create. Michigan Democrat Senator of State Jocelyn Benson said on Sunday that her state likely won't know the results of the 2024 election until 24 hours after the polls close. Funny how that works out. Amazing. Democrats can't even run elections, and people think that they can run the country. The race between former President Donald Trump and Vice President Kamala Harris in Michigan, a vital battleground state, correct, remains a toss-up. Well, not until they start, doing some little foozery-woozery on this whole thing. Here's some stuff from Face the Nation talking about this very thing that we're covering right here.
Do you expect to get results? Well, in 2020, we had the results of our highest turnout election in Michigan history within 24 hours of the polls closing. The unofficial results were completed by 8 p.m. on Wednesday. So we're tracking that again this year. We do have more options to process ballots sooner than Election Day, which is where we were restricted in 2020. So I'm optimistic we could see results even sooner, but I would estimate end of the day on Wednesday as the best guess on how we'll perform. But that said, we will always prioritize accuracy and security over efficiency, understanding how much people will want those results. We're still going to make sure the process is secure and accurate before we put anything out to the public. But that said, we understand people's energy and excitement, and we'll be working hard to ensure those results are ready as soon as possible.
I see what you guys are writing in the chat. Yeah, I don't trust this lady at all. Y'all remember this? Yeah, well, we don't trust the system. People think I'm joking when I say they're putting up poster boards. I wasn't joking. I was serious. Guys, I understand when I say things, it comes out very satirical, like a smart ass and jokingly, and sometimes it is. But usually my jokes are just about the Democrats doing things. Y'all remember this? Yep. And by the way, they're showing footage of voting machines. The person that was leading the centers, like right now, are able to change the votes. I don't know if you guys were watching that footage, like just actively doing it and then printing out the ballot. So they were switching the vote on the machine and then printing out the full-fledged ballot. So it's happening, man. It's happening. It's bad, folks. It's real bad, and I don't trust it. And that's sad because I want to be able to trust our elections, but both Republicans and Democrats didn't want to do anything about it. You want to know who wanted to do something about it? Was Ted Cruz on January 6th when he was standing on the Senate floor with the votes until, and this is where I think my conspiracy antennas are going through the roof, is because on January 6th, we know there was a couple 3-letter agencies that had boots on the ground that were enticing the crowd to go in. And so they go in, and then all of a sudden, they got to take everybody off the Senate floor. Who is advocating for election integrity on the Senate floor and for them to do an investigation of basically a forensic audit on the 2020 election? Oh, that's right. Right when it happened was Ted Cruz. That's really weird, huh? Have you guys looked at, like, done a deep dive into January 6th? There's some weird stuff going on. The fact that Ted Cruz on the Senate floor to be able to give the government access to basically create almost like a commission and look into the election integrity and the broken laws and all the stuff that went down in 2020 to actually see if the election should be certified. And then you also had people storming the Capitol, just oddly enough, which is very rare. And then you had a pipe bomb outside the RNC, and then a pipe bomb outside the DNC area where Kamala Harris was at, like an assassination attempt, basically, and she's never acknowledged it because she wasn't even supposed to be there in the first place. Isn't that weird? Have you guys looked into all this? And then they find the pipe bombs within like 12 minutes of each other and don't say a word about it to anybody. There's video of it, by the way. There's full-blown video, like, of street cameras and stuff like that. I find it a little odd. A little odd that you wanted to look under the hood and then all that takes place, just oddly enough. Oddly enough. Well, here's some other oddly enough stuff. 20 security failures from the Biden-Harris administration's open borders. I was told it was secure. But yet we have a photo here of people just coming through razor wire. And for those that are on audio, there is a individual in U.S. military form, personnel, wearing uniform, whatever you want to call it, just allowing them to come in, just allowing them to ease their way in. So let's go through this so we are all equipped. You know what? Matter of fact, let's do this. I will give you guys this to send to your little Democrat friends, including mine. There you go. There's the article we're reading right now. DHS finds 400 migrants brought by ISIS-related smugglers. Oh, weird. According to 3 officials, DHS has identified over 400 migrants brought to the U.S. from Central Asia and other places by ISIS-affiliated networks of human smugglers. So many of those could be on the terror watch list. Yes. 6 suspected terrorists from ISIS ties arrested. Oh, goody. Yep, terrorists in our country. And don't worry, people are going to show out in the millions to vote for this stuff, folks. In the millions. Illegal immigrant charged in killing of Maryland mother. You got migrants indicted for attacking NYPD officers. But they're here for a good life, you guys. No, they're just here for work because there's a famine and drought. We were told by Kamala Harris. Remember, Kamala Harris, according to what she says, is not the borders are. She was just sent to figure out why people are migrating here in massive numbers. Maybe to take hold of our American dream, maybe to take hold of our safety net, our welfare program. I'll tell you what, if you had no welfare program, they come here with no welfare program or benefits, you just start off like it used to be with nothing. There's a different story to be said there. Different story. Like if you didn't get your lawyer fees paid for, I don't know, your education paid for, your travel expenses paid for, your rental assistance, $84,000 in services. Like the list goes on and on of what these people are provided. All the while you have to sit there in your own country and struggle. Just great. Lebanese migrant admitted Hezbollah affiliation. Oh, that's weird. Oh, well, El Paso of this year. Oh, gotcha. Good job, Kamala, you freaking idiot. A terrorist caught at border roamed free for a year. Great. I wonder how many are also roaming free right now. Border Patrol released suspected terror at the border. Terror watch list. No, it's terrorist. Potential terrorist dropped the ADT program. An arrested Afghan on the terror watch list. An immigrant indicted, murdered Laken Riley. A Haitian immigrant arrested for rape. Immigrant charged with murder of a 2-year-old. Minnesota man convicted of beheading a girlfriend. Texas massacre. Suspect deported 4 times. Sexually assaulted a girl. Arrested and charged with rape. Migrant set free from ICE. Oh, suspected of sexual assault of a 13-year-old girl. Another murderer. It's just the list goes on and on and on and on. And Democrats love it. No, don't tell me they don't love it. They do love it. Why vote for it? Well, she's going to fix it. When? Why not now? They can't, you notice they can't answer I mean, we've all been in a chat when you have one that kind of a little straggler comes in, like one of those zombies, you know what I mean? That you see in like The Walking Dead, they kind of just somehow come into the encampment, they like, with no clue what the hell's going on. Like the hat wasn't a dead giveaway that we're a Republican conservative channel that love this country. They just come in, like Joe. You think Joe walks around the White House like that? Oh shit, get him! It's just me. Yeah, they stumble in here. And then they can't answer any of our questions, just like Kamala. They don't have a clue. Now, if you thought that list was bad enough, you guys, well, get ready for this because there's another caravan coming to the United States border, and it's big, and it's only getting bigger. 2,000 migrants headed to the United States border. And what happens is it's like a snowball. These people just roam, and it just rotates and rotates. And it starts off like this big, and by the time it gets to the border, it's just massive. And they'll all be let in. Oh, yeah. And you know what? I wouldn't be surprised if they get here by election day. Oh, you go, okay, here's a ballot. You come in, ballot, pap, 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 pap. Just giving all ballots. That's a joke, by the way, partially. A caravan of roughly 2,000 migrants is headed to the United States border from the southern end of Mexico just weeks ahead of the presidential election. The caravan, which includes migrants from Venezuela, Haiti, Honduras, and even Africa. Oh, and they're left the city of Mexico's southern border with Guatemala on Sunday. Gotcha. Some migrants appear to be making the journey to the United States now out of concern that the Biden-Harris administration could be ousted. Quote, that is what makes us fearful, Venezuelan national said, referencing the possibility that a new administration could enact policies to stem the flow of migration to the United States. They say this could change because they could both close the CBP-1 appointment and all the services that are helping migrants. Oh, what did that say, you guys? Helping services. Oh, because there's a safety net. That's right. It's not like what it used to be when my grandparents or other people immigrated here. My grandparents didn't immigrate here, but other people's grandparents did back in like the early 1900s. And no safety net. No safety net. News of the migrant caravan en route to the United States comes as immigration has become one of the most important issues, but legacy media won't cover this. You know what I mean? Why is there not legacy media going down there with their cameras and just tracking with their camera like the massive amount of people? Holy shit, there's so many of them. Oh my God, look at the thousands. Who's paying? By the way, who's funding all this? That's my question. Isn't it all your guys' question too? You have thousands of people making this multi-thousand-mile journey. Who's funding their food and shelter and water and like who's doing? Is anybody else curious? Is anybody else curious? Because I am. I want to know who's funding this. Is it Soros? Is it the DNC? Is it nonprofits that are getting money from the DNC? I don't have answers for you, folks. I don't know. But it doesn't end there with illegal immigration. Oh, no, no, no. Drug cartel are given permission to shoot at Border Patrol agents. I think at this point, if I was a Border Patrol agent, I would start speaking up left and right. Now, I mean, it was already crazy before. They were already doing and killing Border Patrol agents as it was. Now you guys need to start speaking out. This is some crazy shit that they're giving permission to shoot at you guys, and you're not going to say anything. You're going to still sit there and cover up the fact that Joe Biden and Kamala Harris suck. At some point here, you need to speak up because you got to go home to your family and raise your kids and help your wife, or vice versa. Eric Birch with the $5. Thank you, Patriot Fam. You're damn right. This is a community that we have built, and you guys are a part of that community and helped build it. Thank you so much. I appreciate that $5. Always donating, Eric. I appreciate that, man. Thank you. Well, you have here, according to a news report, members of the brutal drug cartel in Mexico have been given permission to fire at U.S. Border Patrol agents. An internal memo was transmitted to federal agents in the El Paso sector, warning the agents of the new danger. News Nation reported. According to the report broadcast on the outlet, Mexican cartels are given permission to its members to shoot at U.S. agents at the border. Why is that not an act of war? Why are we allowing this to happen? Why is Joe Biden at this point, when you see a memo like that, you know, get the birds out, get the choppers, right? Get the Blackhawks, get the Humvees, get the tanks, start rolling them in like that. Say, you want to F around, you're going to find out real quick. I don't know why he doesn't. What is Mexico going to do something? What are they going to do something about it? Really? Oh, the PR. The PR already sucks for you. You suck as a president. Kamala Harris sucks. They're terrible. They're both terrible. So that's happening. So there's all that stuff taking place. Just lovely. So God forbid, but Border Patrol agents are in some serious trouble right now with Joe Biden at the helm. Serious trouble. And Democrats love it, you guys. Again, I will repeat that straight to their face. They love the crime. They love all the stuff that these illegal immigrants are doing. There's no thought in their brain about how to solve this other than give everybody amnesty. They are for all of this. They're for a terrible economy. They love seeing their retirement go down the drain. They love seeing these illegal immigrants rape little girls and do all these things. And I'm calling out Democrats. Yes, I am. Because they're the ones voting for this. It's not about the left. I know Ben Shapiro, who we're about to get into, loves to talk about the left, and I agree with him. But he goes, I make a distinction between liberal Democrats and leftists because I have some friends that are leftists that just disagree with me on tax policy. Sorry, Ben, bullshit. And I love Ben. I am a huge fanboy of Ben. Bullshit. Those liberals and those Democrats, it's more at this point than just voting, or sorry, not voting, but disagree with you on tax policy. No, these people love illegal immigration, Ben. Yeah, they're going out and voting for it. Your friends that you're saying are just disagreeing with you on tax policy. No, your friends are going to go vote for Kamala Harris, just as my friends are. These same people that love higher taxes, these same people that love the invasion at the border, the same people that are destroying and voting in policies like Prop 47 in the state of California that are crippling this state, the same people that constantly want to give other countries our hard-earned money, that want to sit there and then attack us and our allies and our military personnel in different areas around the world. I'm sorry, Ben. That one I disagree with you on, bud. Big time. Because it's these psychos that are voting for this stuff. And that's why we're in the position we're in, because they were psycho to vote for a guy that's head wasn't on straight and that we were calling out the entire 2020 primaries and the elections. That Joe Biden's brain wasn't working. Joe Biden's brain is still not working. And by the way, neither is Kamala Harris's. She can't answer a question. You're going to tell me her brain is working? Like very simple questions for somebody that has a law degree and she can't answer it? I don't know what's going on with the bar exam, but if that lady could pass it, shit, dude. Start handing it out to high school then, because they'll be able to pass it as well, because that girl can't do anything, nor answer anything. Holy lordy. Before, I was wrong. Let me admit this. I was wrong about Kamala. And I'll tell you what I was wrong about. Early on in my home state of California, which we're about to talk about right now, we're about to talk about UCLA, she didn't used to talk like this. This is a new thing for her, to act like an idiot, a bumbling buffoon, like just a knucklehead. She was actually pretty, honestly, she'd be asked a question, just straight to the point was the answer. And now she's just like, it almost seems like she's intoxicated. Like she's drunk or something. So I was like, hey, on the debate, she's going to come out and like be a little bit more coherent. She's going to start like turning things around. I was wrong. She's not. She's still just a bumbling idiot. It's a remarkable thing. Well, Ben Shapiro, speaking of my home state of California, yesterday did a speech at UCLA. And I want to say it's been about 6 years since he's done a speech there. He's also a graduate of UCLA. Well, an employee at the University of California, Los Angeles, was filmed ripping down posters put up to advertise Ben Shapiro's speech. Now, this is a common theme of Democrats and the progressive left. But here's this gem of a guy right here, still acting like he's in high school and still living the barrio life, taking down posters.
My boss told me to take flyers down that are around the things.
Okay, the school's telling you to take down flyers.
My boss, the dude's wearing a freaking auto mechanic shirt. Yeah.
My boss.
Yeah, your boss wishes the school.
My boss, yeah.
Yeah, can you say what your boss's name is? Can you tell us why UCLA is, just blatant, like taking down all the stuff?
That's what they do, folks. That's what they do. They tear down, and they do this all the time. They do it with Michael Knowles. It's funny because you don't really see this happening with conservative or Republicans doing this to Democrats or leftists. It's just one side doing it to the other. And again, it's Democrat, leftists, and progressives. I know Ben likes to make that distinction, and I like the distinction. But you're telling me this guy's a leftist, or is this guy most likely a Democrat voting for Harris?
It's on my shirt.
Anthony, who do you work for directly?
Have a good day, sir.
Anthony, can I get your direct supervisor's name? Gentlemen, on all campus, you can only advertise on just 2 little windows. That's it.
No. When they're walking
I'm doing my job, what they told me to do. So
I understand, but
you have a good day.
Who's telling you to do this?
My boss.
Which is?
My boss.
It is weird that if it's your boss and you're not willing to say the name, then, you know, it's just a little odd to me. Like if somebody was like, if my boss had me do something like that, I say, yeah, this is my boss. Like if it was an order, then why would your boss care that you're like, yeah, this is who it was. This is their name. But this is what they do. They hide behind stuff. Maybe this guy is a Republican or conservative. But you know, if he is, then he should have just ousted his boss's name. And it's like, well, you told me to do it. I don't see what the big deal was. They wanted to contact you. You also, hey, before I do, let's review how many once elite undergraduate alma mater became a woke trash heap, drowning in scandals of plagiarism, DEI, riots, furries, BDSM, women, and monster effers. I don't know what that part was. I can't keep up with all the crazy lingo. So that's been there, and he goes on a massive like Twitter rant here, just a massive rant. But look, he's right about all that. He's right. The fact that our guys, college isn't for everybody, and somehow we've just opened it up to like everybody leaves from high school and goes to college and is somehow successful does not make any sense to me. It doesn't, nor should it. And by the way, there's a 56% dropout rate in colleges right now. 56%, I believe the correct number is, of those that can't graduate college in 8 years. And then it's about 25% for dropping out your fall term of your first year as a freshman. Why? Because these students, the public education system is inflating grades. It's all a joke. I've always said this. It's the most, I call it the silent epidemic that nobody wants to address or talk about. Like parents never want to talk about it. In the public education system, there's high schools that have 100% graduation rate. That is statistically an anomaly. You're telling me in a general public that every student graduated that did all their own work, not one? A little odd to me. It's all inflated. It's all foosery. They like to brag about graduation numbers. Don't mean anything, you guys. It doesn't mean anything anymore. So these kids are being graduated. Oh, I got all A's and B's. No, really, you probably got all C's and maybe some D's, and it's inflated because you got upset about your grade, and so they just gave you the grade that you wanted because it doesn't mean anything anymore. And then they go to these universities that they can't compete in, and so they have to drop out, and that's why there's a 25% dropout rate. Now, colleges have woken up to this whole thing and realized that we need to bring back the SAT and ACT because that's a better indicator and a better metric to determine if they'll be successful on that specific college campus. And by the way, there used to be a high school exit. Excuse me. Excuse me. Whoa. There used to be a high school exit exam, and they done away with that because nobody can pass it. So I lost my voice. Yeah, nobody could pass it, so they had to do away with it. So you're telling me everybody can graduate high school, but yet they can't pass a basic high school exit exam anymore. They did that because it was deemed racist. I don't know if you guys remember that. That happened a long time ago. When I was in high school, I still took the high school exit exam, meaning if you don't pass that, you don't graduate. But they can't pass it, meaning they can't graduate, but somehow they're graduating. Things have changed. So the education system has gotten worse. Let's get into a little bit of good news. Here's Donald Trump showing up to North Carolina. There's a hard transition for you.
Just because my heart's about to be like, do you mind if I pray for you? Okay. So, and all those that are prayers, would you join with me in this prayer? Father, I thank you for this man that you have raised up in this moment, in this season, for your purposes. And I pray that you would anoint him, that things aren't done just by might or by power, but by your spirit. So I ask that you would anoint President Donald Trump and give him a spirit of wisdom and understanding and insight as he moves to lead this nation back.
That's not me. That's not me. I don't know what's going on with X. I always have to like refresh the page numerous of times to get it, but it's a beautiful prayer nonetheless. And something that I think Donald Trump really takes dear now, especially after those assassination attempts, and that he's almost meeting his maker all but a few months ago, which seems to just have left the news still. So Donald Trump's back in North Carolina, and what they said there in that same meeting, in that same press engagement, was that they just want to feel heard. They want people to notice them. And that was the message that they wanted to get out to people in North Carolina and just the coastal states there, that they're being heard. But they're only being heard by Donald Trump. They're being heard by Republicans. They're being heard by independents. They're not being heard by Democrats. Kamala Harris, I believe, went to North Carolina for like a little while in the same way she went down to the border for about 2 minutes. But that was pretty much it. And things are just looking rough for the Harris and Walz administration. Well, let's get into a little bit of clips here that I think you'll all enjoy. But I'm looking over at YouTube, folks. We only have 50 likes, but there's a lot more than 50 people watching over at YouTube. If you can hit that like button, it'd be greatly appreciated. It does help a lot. Do kids even still take the SAT? No, they don't, because colleges did not require them for a time. But starting in 2025, some colleges are going to require the SAT, and then some have delayed it to 2028. So colleges are slowly unraveling the SAT and ACT once again, because it was a better metric than taking their grades. Again, that kind of just, I know we're going on a tangent here, but somebody asked, and I really do appreciate it. It's a mini-ver. Is because colleges realized that students' grades were a bunch of BS, that it's not real, that they were being allowed in these universities, and these universities are seeing them not being able to compete. So what happened was the universities had to basically lower their standards of curriculum and academia to be able to just get people to pass. And it's not a good look at their university, because that changes the culture, it changes the dynamic. You know, employers are looking at that university to basically employ from and recruit from. But when you drop your standards, then they're going to go recruit from somewhere else that has the same standards, and they get somebody probably for a lot cheaper to go work at their firm or whatever it is. So they realized all these things were happening over the last decade or so. And they go, well, oh, shoot, this is not good. We need a better metric. And basically the ACT and SAT are almost like an IQ test. So they're realizing that was a better metric in determining if somebody should get into this university or not in this university. It's one of many metrics that they look at. But yeah, so they're bringing it back, and rightfully so. And by the way, the SAT should maybe be a little bit harder, but that's for a whole nother conversation. So we have here Doug Burgum. The momentum is clearly in President Trump's camp. I had the opportunity to be on the ground in Wisconsin and Michigan. Check this out.
Very promising. The momentum is clearly in President Trump's camp. I've had an opportunity to be on the ground in the last month across Wisconsin, Michigan, Pennsylvania, and other swing states. And, you know, the crowds are large. Doesn't matter whether you're on a college campus or whether you're doing a town hall. The enthusiasm is high. But polls don't win elections. Votes do. And we need to take that voter enthusiasm, that support, translate that into everybody getting out. If people haven't gotten out and voted, they need to. And if they've early voted, they need to go talk to their friends and get them to vote to help them understand how President Trump's policies lift up everybody. It's whether it's affordability, whether it's the open border, whether it's prosperity at home or peace abroad. President Trump's policies lift up everyone, and this is the reason why Harris's tired approach on identity politics isn't working, is because all of these groups understand that they were better off under President Trump.
Not everybody, but meaning not everybody understands the fact that they were better off under Trump. And maybe some people weren't, but most people were. You also have CNN just admitted that Hispanics aren't buying what Kamala Harris is selling. Oh, no, they are not.
The Latino vote across the country means so many different things in so many different places. People come from different communities. Obviously, Miami, you have so many Cuban Americans, et cetera. But I am still interested in your assessment of why Latinos as a voting bloc, we're seeing this with black voters as well, voters of color, that are not necessarily seeming to be as inclined toward the Democratic Party this time around as they have been in past election cycles. It's part of why we're seeing numbers, especially across the Sun Belt, seem to look better for Donald Trump. And you touched on some of these issues in terms of the border, but I'm curious why you think that is and how much of it has to do specifically with culture.
I think it has to do a lot with culture. I think it has to do with the fact that, the Democrats have had 4 years under this administration, and Hispanics don't see a record of success. They see inflation eating their paychecks, and then they see rhetoric that does not motivate them. Under President Trump, he was tough on Latin American dictators like Fidel Castro's regime, Raul Castro and Miguel Diaz-Canel, and also in Venezuela as well. And that resonated with the Cuban and Venezuelan communities. I saw a statistic once where he got, I think, 75% of new arrival Cubans voted for the former president in the 2020 or the 2016 election. I can't remember which one. At the same time, you had Democrats monolithically branding Hispanics as Latinx, something that doesn't resonate with the Hispanic community.
Correct. Basically denigrating them. So, and they're doing a lot of things that doesn't resonate with the Hispanics and honestly, even the black vote, but they'll continue to push that stuff because they think that it does, which is weird. There's some sort of polling that they're looking at that basically explains to them that this is a good metric. This is a good way of explaining things to certain communities. And it's just not. You also have the administration told everyone that these individuals coming over our border were being vetted. But here's the thing, not even close. They just lied to all of us. I mean, it's funny because they keep saying Donald Trump's a liar, but as somebody that's covered almost every single White House press briefing, I've listened not just Jen Psaki, not just Karine Jean-Pierre, not just Anthony Blinken or John Kirby or Jake Sullivan or Joe Biden or Kamala Harris. I see all this stuff every single day because I do it as my hobby, as something that's fun. They've done nothing but lie. I'm not saying there's not some truths in there, but the vast majority of what they've done is just completely gaslit the American public for the last 4 years.
Remember that this administration told everyone that these individuals coming over our border were being vetted. That is the biggest joke because we have thousands of gang members that are taking over streets in our city. They've committed crimes, everything from murder to rape to countless number of robberies. And we need to get them deported. And I think the only person that's going to work with us to do that is President Trump. We need to stop the flow. And even right now, you see another caravan, coming to the borders, and this administration still does absolutely nothing. They can quickly undo their 60 executive orders if they cared. So people vote for Kamala Harris. They need to understand that they are voting for millions of more people to enter our country illegally, for thousands of more members of these gangs, criminals, and people who are wreaking havoc in our cities. We need immigrants. We need immigrant workers. We need them to come here legally. And we have a long list of people. Maria, I have citizens that I represent whose relatives have been waiting patiently. They've done everything right. They follow our rules. They're getting pushed to the end of the line by this administration because they're prioritizing the Biden-Harris administration. The people who've paid the drug cartels to enter our country, these individuals that you're seeing right now on your screen wreaking havoc on our streets, ahead of the people who want to come here legally to work and contribute to our society. That is so wrong, and President Trump will fix it.
Now, some of you might be saying, hey, why is nobody helping those police officers? Well, because these are illegal immigrants, and people will sit there and stab you right in your chest, your head, your jugular, or shoot you dead in the street for stepping in. It's too risky and too costly for you to risk something like that to help your officer. I get it, but these people, if they don't care about breaking the law to come here illegally and sell fentanyl to your children die, or just outright murdering or raping your children, they don't care two shits about your life as well. It's better to call the police, help these officers that way than it is to step in and ultimately get your life taken. These people don't care. They weren't vetted. There's a bunch of liars in this administration. They will continue to lie. The Democrat Party is responsible for this problem, and the Democrats don't want to take responsibility for this problem. They would rather just blame Donald Trump for some ungodly reason because, again, it's their problem. They created it. Well, something that I want to sit here and plug that we love, and you might be wondering, Brad, how the hell are you so awake this early in the morning? How do you wake up at 4:30? Well, I drink 1775 coffee. That is always what we're drinking. I'm actually out of it right now. We emptied our mug this morning. Do you enjoy free speech that Rumble is protecting and fighting for? Our show on Rumble is only possible, and I really do mean this, only possible because of all of you and the viewers supporting Rumble's platform by purchasing Rumble's products. You guys have been buying this stuff up like hotcakes. One of them is 1775 coffee, since we are a morning show. Most of you drink coffee every day. We asked what you drink. A lot of you put creamer in your coffee. I'm a all dark black coffee. That's how you get this and none of this. That's why you have to try Rumble's 1775 coffee. It's actually some of the best coffee, and I really do mean that. It's the same price as the coffee you buy now, but it's way better. Rumble 1775 coffee is free from chemicals, yet rich in flavor. This is because their beans are sourced from high-altitude farms in Bolivia, baby. Handpicked, roasted weekly at their facility in Miami, and delivered fresh to your doorstep. Again, I always shout out Jerry because he's the one that tagged it on Twitter, I believe it was, or sent me a picture via email, and he gets the medium roast. And as believers in freedom, buying from Rumble helps fight back against woke corporations like Starbucks and Dunkin' Donuts. Join the coffee revolution and brew rebellion with Rumble's 1775 coffee. Go to 1775coffee.com. Use code STUDIO and get a free month's, is that right? A free month's supply of their cognitive boosting supplement, Limitless, when you buy 2 bags of their coffee. Think about that. It's a crazy deal, and the supplement is worth more than the 2 bags of coffee. Go to 1775coffee.com and try their amazing coffee. The stuff is good. It's delicioso. I love it. And I'm a big coffee drinker. I've been trying to tailor it back a little bit. So you also just have Harris's billionaire tax plan coming out. So Kamala is delegating major policy to talk Mark Cuban in the finals week. Have you guys noticed that she's been chauffeuring this guy out to sit there and just lie to people? It's crazy.
You letting Mark Cuban be out here, being the face of this, why aren't you saying it yourself when it is something that matters to so many people?
Because they don't want to alienate other voters. That's the big that's the big issue.
Of course, the big thing out there. And when I said this matters to so many people, someone told me yesterday they would tell you you're crazy if you said that to the campaign, that this matters. The defense is that this isn't something they think is really going to be a moving issue in the last 2 weeks of the campaign. So they don't want to touch it. They don't want to alienate, but that at least
they don't want to alienate the base, but they also don't want to alienate their big donors, and that's the issue they run into.
Exactly. And I guess with 2 weeks left, they'd rather just let Cuban talk about it. Even when Trump's going on the attack, they say we don't want to make it more of a thing by having Harris herself come out and say it. But I agree with you, especially reporting on this campaign, trying to get concrete details out of them has been really difficult.
Yeah.
It's really interesting to me that you can have such intellectual people. I mean, Mark Cuban is a smart guy, but it's weird that I don't know if these people are bought off or what. I mean, and the reason why I'm hesitant even saying that is I know people that are very intellectual. Like, these people are smart and they'll still vote for Kamala and Tim Walz. I personally don't understand. Even if you, right, because they're problem solvers. Intellectuals tend to be a higher IQ. Higher IQ could solve certain problems a lot quicker than, say, a general IQ can. Their processing is just different. But what's weird is they could sit there and problem solve things, but when it comes to politics and you kind of lay out all the problems that Democrats have caused, and then like the small little things that Donald Trump has done and caused, it's not even close, right? I mean, Democrats have caused so many more things than Donald Trump, and they're not able to process it. They just don't like the guy is really what it is. I mean, that's what it comes down to. And it's like, I could care. I don't like Kamala Harris, but if her policies were better than Trump's, then I would vote for her. But they're not. They're not even close. If there was somebody that was better than Donald Trump, I would vote for them. There's nobody better than Donald Trump right now. So you have between the two. I have always said, I get that you don't like Donald Trump. I get that. I love the guy. I think it's hilarious. I would get along with Trump. He's a man's man. He's a pure American eagle, baby. But what I don't get is that why you would bubble that ticket in for Kamala Harris. Like, you would go out of your way to bubble it. I get not voting at all for anybody. I get that. And just kind of going at the bottom of the ticket, right? Voting for your locality and your state and all that stuff. I get that. But why would you go out of your way to vote for Kamala? That's what doesn't line up and doesn't make sense to me. You don't like Trump. I get that. You're not going to bubble in his name. I get it. But you're going to bubble in Kamala Harris and Tim Walz? That I don't understand and don't get. Well, Patriots, that is today's episode. I hope you enjoyed that. If you feel like we deserve your subscription, it's absolutely free. If you hit that subscribe button, it's absolutely free. It doesn't cost you a dime. You just got to log in. And same thing following over at Rumble. Again, our show did not get deleted, so that was nice. That was a nice little thing on Sunday. Pat says, great show today, Brad. Have a wonderful day today, everyone. Stay blessed and loved, everyone. See everyone in the morning. Bald Brad, Army Strong. Greatly appreciate that. Miriam says, hope everyone has a terrific Tuesday. Thanks for the show, Brad. No, thank you. God bless you. Appreciate you guys greatly. We'll be back here tomorrow, 6 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. Keep November 5th on your calendars. We will be live for multi-hour stream, like a lot of hour and big hour, many hours. And with that being said, Patriots, take care of each other. Check out our book, Trojan Horse, all that stuff. Links are down in the description. I'll see you later, Patriots. Take care.